Some events may be a bitter pill to swallow, but it could be the very medicine that Yah is asking us to take. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, Day 4, the Torah portion, Bashalach, when he sent. Let's go to Shemot, or Exodus, chapter number 15. Verse 1 says, Then Moshe and the children of Israel sang this song to Yahweh and spoke, saying, I sing to Yahweh, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he is thrown into the sea. Yah is my strength and song. He has become my deliverance. He is my El, and I praise him. Elohim, my Father, and I exalt him. Then we go over to verse 23 that says, And they came to Marah, and they were unable to drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter, so the name of it was called Marah. And the people grumbled against Moshe, saying, What are we to drink? So they turn behind them, Israel does, and they look back over the waters of the Reed Sea that they have just miraculously crossed through on dry ground. Bobbing up and down are the bodies of the Mitzrayite army, and bodies are floating up on the shore. It has been a disaster for their adversaries. And so they start dancing. They're not, woe is us, for these people are dead and it's all our fault, etc. They did not pull the current mindset of the world, blaming ourselves for someone else's problems. They looked around and rejoiced, and they danced and they celebrated, and they got out their instruments and started having revival meeting. They prophesied and they declared that Yah is highly exalted and worthy of all praise. And after the Reed Sea revival meeting, 3 days later, they come to a place called Marah, and they find water, but it's bitter, and they're unable to drink it. Revival is now over. It lasted for 3 days, but it is officially over, for it says that the people grumbled and complained against Moshe, saying, What are we supposed to be drinking around here anyway? Bitter waters. We have those moments of ecstasy and of exuberation and joy and dancing and prophesying, and they're good. We enjoy that. It's an awesome time. Somewhere on the way home from the convention, from the conference, from the gathering, it could be a flat tire. It could be a hotel expense that is exorbitant. It could be, people falling out in relationship inside the vehicle. Before you get home, the effect of the conference can be over. Revival has now ended. What are the bitter waters for? Well, there are several things. One, we find out later on that bitter waters is a test of the fidelity of the bride. If a man finds that he has grown suspicious of his wife's behavior, he has warned her against being in the company alone with certain men or a certain man, and she's failed to heed that warning, he may take her to a priest. A concoction is put together. It's bitter, and she can be required to drink it. Again, it is to test her fidelity. We find it in the book of Revelation, chapter 8, verses 10 and 11. It says, And the third messenger sounded, and a great star fell from the heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the fountains of water. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And a third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the waters because they were made bitter. So there is potentially a planetary body, an asteroid, piece of debris, something from space that could fall upon the earth, collide in a root of water systems, and cause bitterness to the extent that people die from the infected waters. So that is a literal interpretation. There is also a symbolic interpretation that could be had. If we go to the book of Revelation and we look at chapter number 12, it says concerning the dragon that rises up to pursue the woman in verse number 15, and out of his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river after the woman to cause her to be swept away by the river. What is this river that comes out of the mouth? Notice where its source is. It comes out of the mouth of the dragon. Well, there is another clue, and that is that the voice of Yeshua is even likened to the sound of many waters. Waters can indeed symbolically represent words. In this case, in the case of the dragon, we're talking about propaganda. This is a little bit akin to an earlier video of this week. And so when there is a message that is designed to influence the masses to a certain slant or perspective of understanding, we call that propaganda. And so the woman that represents Israel is being targeted with a spew, a satanic serpentine propaganda. And the desire is to swallow her up in the rest of these waters. Yah evidently allows that to a certain point as the dragon actually does this. The propaganda would prove who is the bride of Messiah and is acting in fidelity toward the Messiah. That the spew of Satan would cause a sifting, a revealing of those who are Israel in name only and not with integrity. Let's also then understand that this messenger, that the third messenger that causes wormwood to hit the earth, it also would be a test of those who claim to be Messiah's bride. It also could say to us that in this period of time, whenever this takes place, that there is a spew of words that causes men's hearts to become so bitter that men end up dying from it. Could this be what Yeshua was referring to in Matthew 24, that men's hearts would fail them for fear? That the bitter message would cause people to panic to the place of being fearful. Now, in the opening remark, I said it could be that the bitter pill is what Yah would intend for you to actually take. Here's another angle at this. Why would Yah bring them intentionally to a place where the waters are bitter? Well, it was to test them. That's true. It was to reveal the Messiah through the tree that Moshe threw into the waters and made it sweet. One could easily talk about that, and that's probably true. But here's the other part of this. Whenever you have intestinal bugs, let's just be plain, when you might have parasites, one of the means of correcting that issue is digestive bitters. One cure that I knew someone took sometime many years ago included walnut shell that was ground up. And if you've ever cracked open a walnut and to get to the nut on the inside and a piece of the shell actually ended up in your mouth, it is bitter. And so it is the bitterness that enters into the digestive tract that causes the parasites or the other bugs to let go, and then they can be effectively removed from the body. And so it's possible that these bitter waters were intentional to cause a detox. Maybe there was bacteria and viruses that they had picked up while in captivity that Yah wanted to help cleanse them from. Bitter waters, bitter circumstances, bitter trials at times causes us a detox where we let go of the things that are holding us back. We recognize this is detrimental to my walk. I'm just going to let it go. Cue the song from Disney, Let It Go, Let It Go. And may you let things go and be refreshed and have hope in our Messiah. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.